Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Blood, Sweat, and Tears presented by the Fantasy Holics. Mr. Vito here with wide receiver one room Zach Rom and Castle Black Brian Bruner. Gentlemen, some people unfortunately only have 4 weeks left of their fantasy football season. 4 weeks left would probably keep players from injury. Will we even have enough players to last through 4 more weeks? What's going to be left week 16, 17, 18? I'm afraid to ask.
It's a game of attrition, man. And
it's a contact sport.
If you look at the top teams in all your leagues, odds are they're the ones with the play, that haven't gotten hit with the injury bug yet.
Yeah.
It really comes down to it. Like if the team that has Jonathan Taylor and Christian McCaffrey of all people to staying healthy and
somehow
Patrick Mahomes, just coming off the top of my head earlier, these teams, who's a receiver that's just been crushing and not missing time. Amon-Ra has been in every week.
Yeah. Pickens.
So those teams are just, they're staying up on everybody because they're not sacrificing L's to the injury bug. So just look at the top teams. If you take off their best running back and or their best pass catcher, they're maybe they're the team lucky enough to have like McBride or Bowers. You take that away, and what are they? Now they're starting to waiver tight end and Tyrone Tracy at one of the running back spots. So it's just fingers crossed on your contender teams staying healthy, man, because that's the name of the game when it gets to this time of year. And then also the whole nasty boy thing of, remember championship week every year, there's just some weird scrub running back that wasn't even on a 53-man roster that ends up being on the championship team that scores 19 because the Kamani Vidals of the world type of thing. But even lower tier than him, guys that we right now in week 10 might not even know who they are. They might be on some practice squad or in the fucking Arena Football League, and they'll storm out week 17 to a 25-point game for the fucking Chiefs or whoever lost the running back that week.
Yeah, you hate to see injuries, but it's a part of the game. You got to live with it. That's why you have the depth. That's why you have the bench spots. That's why we give you all these buy lows, all these different things to help weather through this injury bug. There are some teams that absolutely destroyed, but if you have one or two, if you have the right picks, you have the right stuff, you can make it through just fine. I mean, think of some people coming back from injury soon. Hopefully that'll help. Brandon Ayuk, hopefully, Chris Godwin, Omarion Hampton, maybe for a final playoff push, if you trust him, Joe Burrow is talking about mid-December. Like some of these guys the other way might be coming back and helping you win some playoff games if you can survive and make it there.
Playing the waiver wire all year, despite you needing a position, just picking up good players because you can and you could swing the bench spot matters so much as we get into this time of year, because if you've played your cards right, you have a bench full of players that you're okay starting. A great example, I just saw it today when I was redoing my lineups for going into week 10 here. The team that I basically do a team with my mom for her work league. We've been doing it for like 10 years. And it's a very competitive league. A lot of sharp people in it, 12-team, just normal ESPN type of league. But we had Tucker Kraft. He was our tight end all year. Obviously, he was kicking ass. He gets season ender this week, devastating. But 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I scooped up Oronde Gadsden because he was a good waiver pickup and just won the waiver bid for him. And now Gadsden just slides right into that tight end one spot for us. So yeah, man, the waiver, especially in leagues that aren't that active with trading, you win your league at your draft and with savvy waiver moves. That's it.
Yeah. Someone was probably dropped. Someone significant was probably dropped a week or two, maybe 3 weeks ago, and it just went under the radar. Like a Trey Benson, Isaiah Likely, something like that. And that's a league-winning pro gamer move right there.
Yeah. I mean, playing waiver wires, imagine if you got Marcus Mariota or Vidal. Even last year after week 1, if you remember, Jordan Mason was hot off the waiver, and he got you some great games to start off. So really, especially in dynasty leagues, you can get that. Like right now, you can move Mariota in a third to get a second, and all of a sudden a waiver pickup for a quarterback because of Daniel's injury going out. All of a sudden, you can benefit some from that. So it's, or even Brissett. If you manage to pick up Jacoby Brissett, and all of a sudden now Murray might be soft benched for a few weeks and Brissett starting, which is great for Marvin Harrison Jr. because he has a quarterback that can actually see him over the offensive line now. Like that might be happening, and it's all based upon just playing the waiver wire, making sure you get in each week, and you might drop the player next week, or you might be able to turn around and get a profit or have a strong backup based upon injury.
Right now on Sleeper, if you click on Fantasy Football News, the top story from a couple hours ago is Kyler Murray's soft benching foot injury could lead to him missing 4 to 8 weeks per Adam Schefter. So,
yeah.
I mean, Jacoby's just looked fucking flat out better. Marvin Harrison just had the game of his career last night. Trey McBride's rocket ship slapped to his ass the second he took over. Thank God for that. McBride's been worthy of where he drafted him. Jacoby just looks in command. Like the team looks like they're rallying around him.
Yep.
The waiver article today before I went into work. I wrote it. I was surprised to see even in 4-point passing touchdown, Jacoby's had like 19 point something and 19 point something his last 2 starts, and obviously in 6-point it's 21, 22, 23, whatever. So yeah, I'm not mad about that. I'll start that in a single quarterback league in a pinch.
Man, for sure.
Imagine spending a first overall pick on Kyler Murray and then seeing Jacoby Brissett, and to an extent a little while ago, I know one viewer is going to hate this, but Joshua Dobbs playing fairly well in the same offense. Like, how do Brissett and Dobbs play decent, adequate football for both and real life NFL football and fantasy over Kyler Murray? Kyler Murray just might not be that good. It can't just be a short thing. I don't know.
He hasn't looked the same since his injury. He used to be able to scramble a lot, make the plays, and since he had that injury, it's hindered him more, and that might be kind of what's really making him struggle. And we talked about this in the offseason about what happens about Kyler Murray. Is he going to get benched or traded? Kind of like a Russell Wilson effect of he's there for so long and might go away. And that seems to be potentially what's happening now, or soon to be. They're questioning him.
So I'll give you a great analogy for Kyler Murray and what's going on with him, man. So when I was a little kid, all through right up until 12, 13, I was on a roll, straight A's, glided through, always, cared about school, put in the effort, did great, teachers always loved me, blah, blah, blah. The second I discovered, girls, weed, video gaming, I quickly realized that instead of putting in some effort and getting straight A's, I could do the bare minimum and still get B's and C's. That's Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray's the bare minimum.
He's going to do the bare minimum. He'll give you that flash game every couple weeks to save his job and to keep him propped up into the quarterback 10, 12 range every year. But I just don't think he gives enough of a shit. He's certainly talented. When he puts in the effort, you see him have monster plays and carry them to a win. But he's just he's not that dude. He's not him. He has no dog in him.
Not anymore. Just as a heads up for those watching and such, you can make comments on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll get them if you have any start sit questions or want us to repeat anything or anything like that. Please feel free to comment. If we don't get to it right away, that just might mean we have something else that is coming up soon that we might reference it. But we already have a couple first questions. Since we're kind of talking about quarterbacks, talking about injuries. Do you like Fields as a replacement for Jaden Daniels in your lineup moving forward? Or are you trying to Are you trying to aim for a different quarterback, or kind of what are you're hoping for?
What I'm going to do right now is look at waivers in my main league of record, which this is a league where it's 12 team and teams tend to roster 2 quarterbacks each. So this is some realistic names you might find on waivers in a competitive league. Well, I can tell you that Fields is also not named the starter yet. Aaron Glenn said he didn't name, he's not naming a week 10 starter. So we have to worry about, is it Tyrod Taylor?
Yeah.
So
It's a bold
That being
strategy.
I put this in the waiver article as well. I listed Fields as one of the quarterbacks to grab because he's down at like 40% roster on ESPN. He is risky, but he can also drop a 40 burger, 30-40 burger any given week with his crazy rushing ability. And all he has to do is throw for a touchdown and 120 yards on top of that, and he's a quarterback 1 or 2 on the week. But let's see what a normal waiver wire is looking like for QB ads. So in this league, I could potentially add J.J. McCarthy, Justin Fields, Michael Penix, Marcus Mariota, Jacoby Brissett, Tua, Bryce Young, and Geno. So in that group, me personally, if Lamar is my quarterback in this league, if I found out he retired tomorrow and I had to grab one of these guys to rely for my title push, I think I would lean probably. I hate to say McCarthy after just 1 week, but McCarthy's got the scenario. He's got the best scenario of any of these guys.
I'm gonna bring up McCarthy in a bit. I would agree with that.
Definitely, I would say he's got the cleanest scenario and talent around him. Fields probably has the highest ceiling of any of these guys. Again, as long as he's starting there, their defense just got shittier, so it should be more of a shootout scenario with all the trades the Jets made. Mariota might be my favorite for just floor. With the rushing and Jane Daniels, his arm's still facing the wrong direction, so I'm pretty sure Mariota's locked in there for the remainder of the season. So yeah, I'd say Fields has the highest upside, but the biggest risk of guys like that you're going to find on an average waiver wire. If you could get somebody like a Sam Darnold or some guys that are available in a lot of leagues, just not in mine, give me somebody like that.
Yeah. For me, I'm getting Fields for more a playoff push than to get me to the playoffs. Looking at the schedule that he has, he's playing the Browns, the Patriots, the Ravens, who have a sneaky good defense. If you look at, fantasy points against for the Ravens are giving up a lot of points, except they had a lot of defensive injuries early on. So it's a little deceptive. But when you're looking at week 14, 15, 16 against the Dolphins, the Jaguars, the Saints, those are amazing matchups for Fields. That if Fields is at the starter, then that's when I'm looking to start Fields. Whereas right now, yeah, I agree. Go for Mariota, Darnold, something like that, where you can get a good floor until then. But I wouldn't be trying to start Fields soon just because of the tougher matchups. And especially with, just how their offense has looked. But yeah, I mean, especially if it's one quarterback, he might be dropped in 2 weeks if he hasn't done well, and then scoop him up and see about that playoff push.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, someone might have dropped Brock Purdy. Someone might have quit on Purdy. Someone might have Joe Flacco might still be available in some leagues. And like we were talking about earlier, Jacoby Brissett's only 50% owned, rostered on Sleeper. He has some tough sledding soon, but Brissett and the Cardinals play the Bengals week 17. That is just, you can cash your Super Bowl winnings there because, if Joe Flacco can throw for 470 yards, Brissett's got at least 403 touchdowns in him.
Yep. And then one other question, just kind of similar to what you were saying, Brian, is Lost Craft. You're going for Hunter Henry, Fannin Jr., Mark Andrews, Hawkinson, Schultz. What kind of tight end are you looking to stream with Kraft being out at this time?
All of them.
Fannin for me. In that group all day, give me Fannin. Yeah. I've actually rostered Fannin most of the year in my league of record. I have Trey McBride, and I was able to start Fannin for his bye week. Luckily, McBride's been healthy. Knock on wood here. But I find myself not wanting to drop Fannin because I just love what he's done with Gabriel in there. And if something happened to McBride, I'd rather just roll him back into the lineup rather than hope there's something on waivers. All the options you mentioned are perfectly fine streamers. Henry's the one that kind of stands out in the wrong direction for me. He really hasn't done much at all since like week 1 and 2. It seems like Henry does that all the time. He starts off with a huge game or two and then kind of vanishes and just randomly pops up here and there. But I like Schultz in that group. I don't mind Andrews, but even after the 2-touchdown game, it's like all he did. He just caught 2 touchdowns, and that was his day. So I don't think that happens every week. Yeah, Schultz, Fannin, Hawkinson, he's coming off an okay game, but he's definitely not the TJ Hawkinson of 2-3 years ago.
Yeah. Fannin for me easily.
I'm going to say Andrews.
Okay.
Andrews has had some tough sledding. They didn't have Lamar for a few weeks. Andrews has green light matchups the rest of the way. The toughest matchup he had versus tight end was 16th, and I think that was versus the 16th best against tight end was for the Vikings. The Jets have traded away 2 significant players of their defense. We'll talk about that soon. Andrews has a tremendous schedule rest of the way. Fannin's awesome. Andrews second best. Andrews should be like 95% rostered. If he's somehow available, I'm stashing him also.
Yeah, that's a great point. I forgot about Andrew's schedule being very easy going forward. That if he can get some consistency going with Lamar back, that's good for a playoff push.
It's fair. I'm looking at his game log on Sleeper, and a lot of teams green, a lot of green in front of him as far as matchups for tight end.
Yeah,
he did again last game. He had 3 entire targets and 22 yards on 2 catches. They just both happened to be touchdowns.
Yeah,
and that was with Lamar. So I'll take Fannin over him, but I definitely see we've seen the talent for years from Andrews, the connection with Lamar, and yes, the matchups after from like week 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 are all green.
Yep. So diving forward, we're going to start talking about some of the news, some of the trade deadline news. Not as crazy as last year, but we still had some good trades more on the defensive side, but we'll still talk about their significance. Dive into kind of a review of this past week, preview of next week, talk about some contending matchup pieces that we've alluded to, some reviewing what we've talked about previously and adding a couple things to it. But starting off with some of our trades that have happened. Again, more defensive, but the Jets, 3 of the 4 players traded are traded for or by the Jets. Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner got traded. Sauce Gardner to Mr. Rovito's Colts, making a great push. The Cowboys, Quinnen Williams, and sending Adonai Mitchell back to the Jets. I saw the most perfect post of Adonai Mitchell was meant to be a Jets when he dropped the football on the 1-yard line going in for a touchdown, turned into a touchback. Like,
if only they didn't get rid of Malachi Corley, they could have Corley and Mitchell on the field at the same time to just drop a touchdown at the 1.
Yep.
Sometimes also referred to as an Amari DiMercato.
Oh.
Or a Jonathan Taylor last year.
He
played his ass off trying to make up for that. He was like, I'm going to get you 190 and 2 touchdowns the next week. But that would cost some people. Nobody remembers, though, because Jonathan Taylor is on pace for 97 touchdowns this year.
Man, yeah. I think Taylor had like broken the plane. It's egregious. It's stupid. I don't know why people do it. Taylor's was the least bad of the Fumblerooski.
Yeah. Yes. So, just a thing of note, I didn't bring it. We have a contending matchups graphic we'll bring up in a second. But looking at these Jets trades, two big defensive players, young defensive players, which you don't see traded too often, but this is the third time this offseason with Micah Parsons being traded too, even Logan Wilson, which we'll talk about in a second. But the Jets defense is so much softer now. I'm looking at upgrading my Patriots players, especially Drake May, especially running backs, just because of how the Jets schedule is they're weaker against the running backs. They're losing a defensive tackle. If you can get Stevenson while he's injured, get him there, or even Demario Douglas. Drake May shouldn't be cheap, but if you can get him, the Patriots are playing the Jets twice still, week 11 and 17. They're playing the Bengals in week 12, who they're going to just destroy. And the Giants are giving up top 10 points to all positions but tight ends, which are playing in week 13. So if you're struggling to get into the playoffs or you're unsure, you're borderline, get some Patriots players because they're going to have some easy matchups weeks 11, 12, and 13 facing Jets, Bengals, and then Giants. That'll help you push in, see if you can get anything like that. Even Henderson, he split the carries about 50-50, 60-40, but if he can get something going, especially if Stevenson's still injured, look at the Patriots players to upgrade them to help get you into the playoffs based upon these Jets trades. Then,
no way the Jets can be any bit as good as they were on defense, subtracting Sauce and Quinnen. I mean, they weren't shutting people down necessarily. At least I don't think so. I'm not sure exactly where they were ranking, but I'm assuming it was middle-ish. I don't recall benching any of my studs because they were going up against the Jets necessarily. I know Sauce kind of shut down Ted McMillan that week, but
yeah.
But yeah, certainly they're obviously a much easier matchup, no doubt about it. I'd like to pop in with a quick trade that just came across while I was looking on Sleeper for some other stats. I found a dynasty team, where I actually have Jaden Daniels and Tucker Kraft, so that's fun. Lost both of them this week. The team is pretty young and solid, 11 and 7 with the median scoring, currently in 5th place. Lots of decent young players, obviously J-Day and Kraft to come back next year. I had a wonderful person try to get my Devon Achane, and he's going to do me the solid of giving me J.K. Dobbins, Ty Johnson, and Chamari DK for one of the best young running backs in football.
Something doesn't add up there.
I just sent him back the word gross. I'm not even declining the trade. I just responded with the word gross.
Here, I was thinking it was going to be a trade for us to discuss, ask people to comment on, but gross is exactly what.
To bring that up. Had to bring that. Let's just give him a shout out. The guy's name, Shamrock Whiskey, is his sleeper name. So if anybody plays with Shamrock Whiskey or knows him personally, tell him to get it together.
Sounds good. What you guys think of these wide receivers? Anything of note for them or as a detriment for anyone that might jump behind them? Rashid Shaheed from the Saints going to Seattle, Jacoby Myers to the Jaguars, and Adonai Mitchell to the Jets.
Adonai Mitchell means nothing.
I'm afraid for the JSN deep shots. You've got to think 2 to 3 a game are going to go to Shaheed. I don't think it's that big of a dip. Cooper Kupp's totally done, totally finished. But like Shaheed and JSN feel like very similar guys. I guess JSN will do more slot work, and I'm a little afraid for those home run shots that were only going to Njigba. But that was the first thing that came to mind. Like, oh,
I don't view it much at all as a detriment to Njigba. Any Seahawks game that I've watched, they are just precise 5, 10, 15, 20-yard stop, curl routes, crossing routes, just perfectly executed, perfectly timed passes. I don't recall seeing much of the bomb. I'm sure JSN's caught some bombs this year, but I view Rashid Shaheed exactly as I did 6 hours ago. He's a guy that, sure, he can be on your roster, but have you ever been like, sweet man, I'm putting fucking Shaheed in my lineup this week? No, you're not. Just a DFS type of dart throw. Sam Darnold clearly has fucking mind meld with JSN. They are running like a well-oiled machine. That the last game that we got to watch as a spotlight game, it was fucking glorious. He had 4 touchdowns. I mean, he did throw a pick to like ruin the perfect day, but dude, they're balling at the expense of fucking Ken Walker and Zach Charbonnet. It's the Darnold and JSN show, and fucking Torrey Horton got his. He can have Torrey Horton's role from last week. There you go. And what did JSN do? I don't know off the top of my head. I'm not sure what JSN did, but let's look.
It's great stuff.
Recall Torrey Horton had 4 catches and 2 of them were touchdowns.
Yeah.
And JSN still had 8 for 129 yards.
Yeah.
With someone getting 2 touchdowns and some yardage and stuff.
Yeah. We got a comment that I think kind of sums it up is the Seahawks will stretch the field with Shaheed, similar with the Lions with Jameson Williams. That Shaheed might not necessarily get those games. He's probably going to be boom or bust. Whenever I think boom or bust wide receiver, I always think Gabe Davis from like 5 years ago on the Bills, where he had as many 0-point games as 20-plus point games. Now, Shaheed's not going to be that as inconsistent, but I think he's going to be similar boom or bust role versus as New Orleans. But I think that might even open up JSN more because they have a better receiving threat on the outside versus injured Cooper Kupp and a rookie Torrey Horton. That I think it's going to be helpful for JSN rather than take anything away. He might get those deep shots, but JSN will still eat, and I think it's going to help him plenty.
Can you pull up that comment for Mac Daddy again?
Yeah.
1 second. He's got a fever. I need more cowbell.
More cowbell.
Sorry, I couldn't resist
like
with
it.
a cowbell within arm's reach of me.
I like it.
At the end of the day, the Jacoby Myers shit means like nothing to me either. He's looked
so
terrible. He seems like a dude he's doing a Kyler Murray impersonation of he's just existing. I was thoroughly it was anticlimactic, these trades. Sure, there's some big stuff for the NFL, but honest to God, I think outside of the Jets defense getting worse and maybe the Cowboys defense getting better, it has no bearing on fantasy football, really.
Yeah. Now, what I will note, just looking at Jacoby Myers' stats real quick, is they're not terrible. They're looking pretty decent. It's not he's failing to catch. He's not dropping a lot of balls. I almost wonder if he, when you're looking at quarterbacks, he moved from Geno Smith to Trevor Lawrence. I think Jacoby Myers for fantasy will get a little bump, but unless you're in a deep starting lineup, you still can't start him. But keep an eye out on him. Everyone says, a Trey gets played, he's going to do much better. I'm not saying he's going to do much better, but he's someone to keep an eye out on because Geno Smith hasn't looked amazing. And
hasn't looked good.
Oh, he's
amazing. He hasn't even looked adequate.
He's looked bottom 5.
Until Brock Bowers came back.
Yeah.
He was balling the fuck out this week. What was Geno? He had like 38 fantasy points. There's something. I mean, depending on the scoring, it was pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, with Brock Bowers, that's right. He did have a good week. But Jacoby Myers' stats.
That, though.
Yeah, before that, Jacoby Myers' stats have been in line this year, mostly with last year. So keep an eye out on him. I'm not sending a second for him in Dynasty. I'm not overbuying him right now, but he's to keep an eye out. And Adonai Mitchell is the same as before for me. He's a borderline drop since day one. This is not. He's. I threw him on here because he was a part of the Sauce Gardner Sauce Gardner trade. That's right. He's not worth it.
Is he a drop at the 1 or
Yeah.
like top of the two, or
There you go. Let's see. Any other comments before we move on?
So the Cowboys wouldn't pay Micah Parsons, but they are. How much of these contracts are they eating from Williams and Wilson? I know Williams signed a big deal maybe a year or two ago, and I think Wilson was a holdout in the offseason. I mean, and
Good
why
question.
now? Why now? Like, the Cowboys season's pretty much, they're 3-5-1. I mean,
Yeah, but to Jerry Jones, that means they're in the playoffs. So that's it. He's doing these moves because, well, we need a defensive player to get in the playoffs. But I mean, when you're looking at it, Quinnen Williams isn't too much. He's only $8 million now, 20 million, 25 million. It gets up there a little, but I mean, it's very interesting to see
I will say
that.
The position that Quinnen Williams plays is one of the more important positions in football. Underrated. They don't put up stats. They're almost like offensive linemen where it's not the stat sheet. It's the owning the middle of the defensive line and getting the push and the run stopping. And
Yeah,
he's, even if they don't get into the playoffs this year or whatever, I have no beef investing in not necessarily the player of Quinnen Williams, but as an Eagles fan, just knowing that we've had these big, massive bodies in there, just watching Jalen Carter eat fucking Patrick Mahomes' lunch in the Super Bowl last year. Dudes like that are worth it. They aren't that great for fantasy stats or the stat sheet in general, but they're massively important. So I don't mind with what they got for fucking Parsons. What they get, multiple first-round picks and a good defensive lineman in Kenny Clark, who had some flash plays last night. I heard his name a couple times.
Yeah.
Now they can put that money into a Quinnen Williams. I don't hate it. I mean, it's weird trading a generational type dude like Parsons, but he seems to kind of just be a one-trick pony in that he can get to the quarterback as good as anybody in football, but I don't know what else he does.
Yeah. That's we got a comment talking about the Cowboys defense, which made me laugh when I saw it, which kind of explains, Cowboys making these trades but trading away Micah Parsons. Is they wouldn't pay Parsons, but they Bland, who fell on his ass last night trying to guard Marvin Harrison here. So really, the Cowboys and their defensive efforts and what Jerry Jones does is very up down and kind of whatever Jerry Jones is feeling. So granted, yes, they got a great trade value back from Micah Parsons, but it almost seems like, I mean, what you some of that at these defensive players. It'll be interesting to see.
it can't be worse, can it? Can it really be worse?
Yeah, but how much better is it going to get? It'll be helpful, but how much better is it going to get?
Dude, when Marv dusted Bland for that touchdown, and Buck and Aikman were talking about how proud his dad would be and like how clean of a route that was, and then they show Lamb on the sideline watching them, and Lamb's like, "Oh shit!" They're like, "Don't take our word for it. Take CeeDee Lamb's word for it on how good that route was." Yeah, man.
It was my Mark Harrison Jr. shares had up just hearing Jacoby Brissett being quarterback, but seeing that, I'm like, he's got some untapped potential that they're just now breaking into, that I'm excited to see.
Is there?
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to bring this up again. Again, talking about two things real quick. We brought this up twice already. These are contending matchups. Matchups that when you're looking at teams trying to figure out what players you should trade for that are facing easier defenses moving forward. So Steelers have some very easy matchups, Packers, etc. The teams on the left are the teams that have that easier matchup when they're playing. There's two things I want to add and mention. This list is the first talked about briefly. I'll just mention it. Upgrade the Patriots because they're playing the Jets twice and the Bengals once, the Giants. The secondly is the Giants are slowly sneaking into allowing top 10 points to every position except tight end. And what I want to point out is I've been talking to JJ McCarthy not looking great. Upgrade Vikings players. Sure, they're playing the Ravens week 10. That's going to suck. They've more points than they should have because of defensive injuries, but Bears week 11 given 10 to all position, top 5 wide receiver quarterback. Commanders week 14 given an all top 6 points for all positions, but running back with 13th. Cowboy we talked about, and then they're playing the Giants week 16. If you can get some Vikings players, if it's Addison cheap, if the guy with Jefferson's in last place and you give him something fast, like, or if you want to try and risk it on JJ McCarthy, especially in Superflex, the Vikings weeks 11, 14, 15, 16 have some great potential matchups to keep an eye out on. And then just a brief review of week 9, again, of these easier matchups. When you're looking at the Bengals playing the Bears last week, and we'll talk about this 42-47 Bengals player went off. Joe Flacco off. Week 9, Ravens, Dolphins. Ravens players, Lamar had an amazing night. Eric Henry, he didn't score amazing points, 12, 30 points, but he still had over 100 rushing yards. He just didn't get a touchdown. So you're still seeing that showing you here is working well. So in this 10, maybe keeping an eye on Vikings players, but week 11 is where, okay, start looking at Steelers, looking at Vikings week 11, looking at maybe some Dolphins play week 11. Look at this, screenshot this, come back to this, keep an eye out on this to help you soon. You know, we have 4 or 5 weeks and playoff starts. It's not that far away.
It's a damn shame the Bengals and Cowboys don't play each other this year. Oh my Lord. That would be like 61-58. That would be fantasy gold.
Even higher than the Bengal Bears. Awesome.
Yeah, good matchups, man. Good matchups matter, so keep an eye on it.
Okay. Just want to bring that. We'll bring it up in another couple weeks or something. Keep it up for playoffs, but want to mention that. But we're going to dive into a very exciting week 9 where had last week one game that within score the entire week. And I think it went up to 9 games that were within one score this week. We had Raiders, Jaguars go into overtime. Bengals, which had 3 touchdowns scored in the last 2 minutes. That was a roller coaster of emotion. The Packers losing, like some amazing, amazing games that happened. What are your guys' initial thoughts on this last week?
I'm starting at the top with the Ravens game. Lamar got you 4 touchdowns, decent amount of passing yards, solid fantasy week. I think it was 20. I got 25 point something from him and 4-point passing touchdown. Obviously, 30 plus in 6 points. So great to see. I think the announcers even brought it up. He didn't seem like he wanted to run. He didn't have to run. Didn't get much pressure on him. I assume if they got more pressure, he probably would have took off 1 or 2 more times. But that's the cheat code with Lamar. It's just amazing that he can sit back and throw 4 touchdowns and have like a flawless passing game. It was just a running joke. I remember people just calling him a running back. Oh, he's a running back that plays quarterback. He can't pass. Watching Lamar throw the ball anymore, he just puts lasers on people. And they're not even rocket. He's just whipping it in there. It's just finesse. They're just perfect arc, perfect placement. The dude is a hell of a passing quarterback that just has the option to run for 1,000 yards in a year. It's amazing. Love having Lamar in all facets of redraft and dynasty. The dude's fun as hell. I was sad not having him for a couple weeks there, but welcome back to relevance. We talked plenty about Andrews Zay Flowers, better days ahead. Hopefully, he had a decent game. The Dolphins suck.
Like, the Dolphins suck, but do they suck? They lost. So this is the last 5 games. They lost to the Chargers 29-27. They lost to the Browns 31-6. Then the Dolphins beat the hell out of the Falcons 34-10, then lost to the Ravens 28-6. Like, what do you even make of this team? Like, can you trust anything at all? I don't know. I have no clue what to make of this team.
Let's ask Siri. Hey Siri, do the Dolphins suck?
Yes.
I'm honestly pretty curious what Siri would say to that question. Or let's even one better. Let's ask ChatGPT to the
Yes.
fucking Dolphins suck.
While he's doing that, when you were saying the score was like, so they're the Gabe Davis of a football team. They're just, you never know what you're going to get. And I mean, with Tyreek Hill injury, depending on how Tua's feeling, it seems like he could sleep wrong and acts as if he can cut and those not doing great. And then it's so weird to see just how up and down they are, just how inconsistent. You don't see an NFL team be that inconsistent as good and bad. Usually they're just bad and have a good game, or really good and they're just up and down and up and down.
The Dolphins lost to the Bills by 10 and lost to the Browns by 25. I don't even know why I'm trying to make sense of it. They just don't make sense. What did ChatGPT say?
So it says right now first off it says depends on who you ask. Haha. I love how ChatGPT talks to you like it's like your boy. It says right now the 2025 seasons the Dolphins are pretty solid in that they have some good players like Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill when they are healthy. But then it just goes on. It says they against good teams they tend to falter. Blah blah blah. But it says so. Short answer: against bad teams, no. They kind of look elite sometimes. Against top tier teams, yeah, they pretty much suck. Oh, I love it. But yeah, I think they just suck. I think McDaniels is. I think it's just the well has been poisoned there with the Mike McDonald, whatever the fuck they call it, McDonald's on the footballers. It's just over. It's they know that he's just a lame duck coach. They announced they're keeping him for the rest of the year. Tyreek's done. Yeah. Waddle and Achane are good for fantasy, but it's just fucking gross. We'll see what the franchise does moving forward. But
they did fire Chris Greer. I guess the Darren Waller move didn't pan out like they thought. Surprise, surprise.
It actually did pan out until he got hurt. He was, one of their better players just off the street. So, yeah, they I don't think we need to say much more about the Dolphins.
No, it's his last name McDonald's because that's what his next job is going to be.
Yeah. Now he'll go to some college. He'll go be the new coach at Arizona State or some Pac-10 team and come up. He'll be the next Chip Kelly for college football.
Yeah. So if anyone's watching the Bears-Bengals game, that was a roller coaster. I live in Bears country. I was at my in-laws. We were all watching the game, and it was just went from we're to, well, we pulled another Bears, we lost, and then like Loveland pulls out a 58-yard touchdown. We're like thinking, can the O-lineman really run off like this ball? Are they fast enough? And then Loveland breaks the tackle. Of course, are like, wait, where did that come from? Like, that was such a thrilling game to watch. High scoring, everyone ate Odunze, who gave you this much. Like, you scored 7, Odunze would catch a ball, but he dropped two easy passes.
Easy score, yeah.
An easy trick play and an easy touchdown he dropped. Which is so unlike him. But it was an amazing game. And one interesting thing, you mentioned this, Brian, about Lamar Jackson scrambling and, he can really throw really well. Watch Caleb Williams, he scrambles. When Caleb Williams scrambles and tries to get the ball to someone, that thing is a laser. I am shocked how fast he can throw that ball scrambling. You're like, oh, no, that's just a dart straight to where only his receiver can go. Caleb Williams is developing so well under Ben Johnson that he underrated with his ability that they're looking kind of good on the offensive. Sorry, I have my family's going through an illness and my throat's getting a little sore, so I'll try and mute if I cough a little more. But that game was so entertaining.
Insane. 89 combined points, just batshit crazy. The back and forth. It's other than the Roma Dunze thing, it's the juice that we want for fantasy. Just everybody but Rome had a fucking good game. Samaje Perine actually got hurt. I was going to say he even had a good game, but he did not. It did allow Chase Brown to get 14 or 15 points just through the air and keep himself relevant. And
he led the Bengals in targets.
They both have shit defenses. They both have good players on offense. Just play them all the time, because even like this was the perfect storm because they were playing each other. But at the end of the day, whoever the fucking Bears are playing are probably going to score points on them, and it'll keep Caleb chucking it. And it's just glorious. And same thing with the Bengals. I know they're off next week, but going forward, it doesn't matter what their matchup is. Their defense is going to give up points. And Flacco, white Jameis Winston, is going to get out there and just chuck it to his fucking weapons and make shit happen. And God bless both of these teams for fantasy.
Yep.
As much as I like to see good football like the other guy, like everybody else, man, a crazy ass, completely out of control game like this, it's just so fun to watch. I mean, Caleb Williams had 2 receptions. DJ Moore had a touchdown pass. The opening kickoff was returned for a score. There was no defense. It was just the most. It was a video game, and you couldn't even pull this off in a video game. It looked like Caleb Williams was in fear for his life the entire game. The crazy thing is, Caleb Williams has the most time to throw in the entire NFL by a large margin. By a large margin. It looked like he was under duress the entire game. And the Bengals aren't putting that much pressure on him. It's like Caleb has 0.3 of a second. He doesn't see who he wants, and he just takes off. It's weird, but it's fun.
Except for in the red zone. In the red zone, he'll just sit and sit and sit. But anywhere else, he created with his mobility. And yeah, he'll run, but in the red zone, he just holds it, and it doesn't work well. Great, but he's putting together a string of good games.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking at pro.nfl.com right now. Caleb Williams has the most time to throw, 3.25 seconds.
Wow.
Third best is Jalen Hurts at 3 seconds flat. Caleb Williams has a whole quarter of a second longer than third place, and I didn't think that offensive line was that good. According to these stats, Caleb Williams has 3.25 seconds to throw. That's a long time for an NFL quarterback. That's an eternity.
I'm curious how they factor that in. So
I'm curious how they factor in all of this stuff.
Right. What I'm getting at is like, okay, do they go, all right, start the timer when he snaps the ball and then stop the timer when he throws the ball?
Yeah.
Because the way that he scrambles around and avoids pressure and then gets the throw off, that doesn't mean his offensive line's protecting him. That means he's very mobile and just running for his life for 7 seconds every other play before he throws it.
Yeah.
Yes, that too.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm not sure if that means, is it 3 seconds before he's pressured, or it's average of 3 seconds before he actually throws the ball, regardless of what the fuck happened after the snap. Because when I watch the Bears games, yeah, there's a long time between when he snaps the ball and he throws it a lot of the time, and most of the time he ain't just standing in the pocket. He's running around for his fucking life and spin moving people and then getting a pass off 7 seconds later. So I don't think that says a ton about their offensive line. Again, I'm not sure how they measure it or what Pro Football Focus was doing.
Scramble.
Yeah.
It's like there was an Eagles play forever, many years ago with like Donovan McNabb, where he connected on a 4th and 26. It's the stuff of lore in Philly history. I think it took him 20 seconds or something before he actually released that ball. Now, maybe not 20, but 18 seconds or something, shit like that. So does that mean he had great protection, or does it mean Donovan McNabb was just doing a circus act to stay away from getting sacked?
Yeah, I think what the stats he just looked up, you just looked up, Patrick, is wet by the time he throws. That includes scrambling. Like I'm pulling up Fantasy Pros, which has average time between the snap and either throwing the ball or first pressure, and Williams isn't in the top 8, top 10.
That's right.
This is 2.7 seconds. Herbert's 2.5 with Allen, Drake May 4. So I think it's more. I think that stat is more. Says less about the Bears' O-line and more about Williams' ability to scramble.
Yeah, it's impressive. Nobody's doubted his talent. Everybody knew he was basically slotted to be the first pick in the draft 2 years before he came out of college.
Yeah,
for this reason, because people were seeing his natural gifts and talent. So it's good to see, man. It's good for fantasy. I never want to see anybody. I wish every quarterback that got drafted in the league just stepped in and started kicking ass for real life in fantasy.
Yeah.
John, so I mean, we could probably talk for 40 minutes just about the players on the Vikings and the Lions, but what do we feel about the Vikings or the Lions right now that changed from before kickoff of this game? What's different? Are you starting anybody or sitting anybody differently?
I want to say JJ McCarthy looked good, but it seems more like, from what I was looking at, he was good in the first quarter on script, and he struggled after that. And I mean, he didn't pass it amazing. He had 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, rushing touchdown. Like, fantasy-wise, he had a good game, but like, I'm not. Aaron Jones' injury is of note, that he immediately took back the steps from Jordan Mason, but now is injured. So who's the running back there is a thing of note. I mean, not sitting Gibbs, but Gibbs only had 4 points. So, like, nothing changed for me looking at how the went. I'm surprised he's off the wall.
JJ McCarthy's awesome. No further questions. Jones claims he's fine. Jordan Mason kind of vanished overnight. I'm surprised they didn't do like a timeshare or a split or something to keep Jones fresh. They've got to use both. They have to utilize both of them more to keep one of them fresh. I mean, I was a little bummed there. I needed Mason for some fantasy teams, and Mason's looked really good with the full workload. But we'll see. Receivers look good. It's a solid team. I'm surprised they hung in there with the Lions. I'm surprised the Lions only got. The Lions looked on the ropes for a while in that game. I was very surprised.
They eliminated Gibbs and Montgomery from the game plan, and if you do that, you can beat the Lions. Yeah. So good on them. Divisional matchup. They're always tighter and tougher, and they know the team's better. And so, yeah, I think that's kind of I don't know why it took me 9 weeks to think about it that way, but that's a great way to do the recap. So Panthers, Packers. Crazy upset. But again, what do you feel about these players? Did anything change from how you feel about all the main fantasy key cogs from these two teams? What's different from before kickoff to how you feel about him right now?
For me, it's Rico Dowdle.
Rico Dowdle is a stud.
I think he's solidified taking back the from Hubbard. I mean, it's been 50-50, 60-40 in favor of Hubbard 2 weeks before in week 7 and 8. In week 9, Dowdle jumped to 70% and Hubbard down to 20% snaps, and Dowdle just went off. I think that's the main takeaway for me is Dowdle is, again, we're talking about waivers. How many waivers in Dynasty waivers even was Dowdle on? I'm sure there were some, depending on how deep you were, or could you have gone him for a third before the season easily? And he's now, if you're contending, you trading Dowdle for a late first and saying I'll take the first for Dowdle, or are you starting Dowdle in your flat saying I can just hit him and he's going to get potentially give me 20, 30 points? Like, someone that if you're contending and you come off waivers is a dime for you now.
For me, it wasn't that he just kicked ass. It's that Canales came out and said, yeah, he's getting the bulk of the workload. He's our guy. And he then got the bulk of the workload and kicked ass. That's the biggest part about it. We've watched him kick ass. To answer, you said he might have been on Dynasty waivers, not in any of my leagues, because I've been the Rico fanboy since last year. One of the more heated arguments I've ever gotten into in the Holics group chat was about Rico not being mid towards the end of last year. But I've always thought he was talented. But this is awesome. I mean, he had back-to-back games this year, like astronomical, 38, 40-point games back-to-back. And then look at this. As soon as they gave him that escalated workload again, boom, fucking 100-plus yards, 2 touchdowns, league winner looking like. And the Panthers have a winning record, if I'm not mistaken. They seem to be playing some decent defense. They can control the offense mainly with Rico there. It's been a little bit disappointing for Tet. Tet has been in every other game thing. He's still on pace for like 130 targets, 80-something catches, clear 1,000. So it's been good. Just not wish it was a little better for Tet, but we're talking about the Panthers here. We're not. It's not a scoring bonanza. It's not the Bengals. So we'll take what we can get.
Yeah, he's got Kyler Murray East in Bryce Young. Bryce Young has one game over 200 yards passing. One. And the game he had over 200 yards passing, I must have been on another planet when this week happened. He had a 35 completion, 328-yard game in week 2 versus the Cardinals. I must have completely missed that. I don't know. This has to be like 1984 football where a team is 5-4 with a quarterback throwing for under 200 yards every game.
Yeah. But again, they're winning.
Rico is awesome.
Yeah, ride it with Rico, man. It's similar to the way that the Chiefs were winning, and it was pissing us all off for fantasy. They have a formula. At least we know we can start Rico, and Tet's a flex option, wide receiver, 3-ish option. With the Packers, Jordan Love, another disappointing game for fantasy, but disappointing game for the Packers. Yeah. This to me is they were looking ahead to the Eagles Monday Night Football game next year. They had their fancy 1930s jerseys on. They were like, we're just going to walk through these Panthers and deal with Philly, but they had other thoughts. It looks almost like a throwaway to me. I'm not thinking I'm going to bench. You're certainly not benching Josh. Josh Jacobs is a locked-in RB1 every week, 0 questions about it. But the receiving game there continues to be a question mark. We lost Tucker Kraft. Luke Musgrave is just an average player in a good situation now. Matthew Golden, ultra disappointing. I think he also got banged up. Romeo Doubs has established himself as a locked-in starter. He's a low end wide receiver 2, high end wide receiver 3 flex every week. He's Jordan Love's guy, and now with Kraft out, I only see that ramping up.
Biggest head in the NFL.
It's giant, huge.
Yeah,
Can't miss him. You're not going to miss him. I have a waiver claim on Luke Musgrave in every league. I made that random dart throw earlier this year. Like, Luke Musgrave was the guy for a quick minute before Kraft Wally pipped him. I've got a waiver claim for Musgrave everywhere I can.
Yeah, Musgrave looked good before his injury. Kraft. Yeah,
you can get Musgrave for a $0 bid or a $1 bid. I hope I get him. I think he'll just slide into that Kraft role, and I mean, no other Packers pass catcher wants the gig. Like, Christian Watson came back, had a monster game, and then he did almost nothing. Matthew Golden's nothing. Outside of Dobbs, who's going to catch the passes?
Kraft will be serviceable. I would, if I was doing rankings, I'd rate him as a streamer, low end, tight end 1. He was drafted ahead of Kraft. We've talked about it a bunch. Kraft is better, and the Packers figured that out. But he's thrust into a role now, and as you should have a waiver. If Musgrave is on any of your dynasty waivers, even redraft, I would view it as my main team has McBride and Fannin, and it's a normal 6 bench type of redraft league. I can give a fuck about Luke Musgrave in that league. In any dynasty league that has a big bench, and if Musgrave's out there, fuck yeah, it's going to cost you more than $1 unless you're playing with some weirdos. Luke Musgrave is going to go for big fab bids in dynasty leagues because he's helped for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Yep.
But I still think pretty mid player, honestly, just looking at what he does on the field with the ball, but he'll catch some passes by default now.
Yeah. So looking at Chargers, Titans, there's 2 things that stick out to me fantasy wise of note, and both are quarterback related. First, I want to mention about Cam Ward. I looked it up a little more, looking at the pocket time on Fantasy Pros. Tied at third with 2.5 seconds. I was wrong. Tied at third at 2.5 seconds is Josh Allen, Caleb Williams, Sam Darnold, Herbert, and Cam Ward, having 2.5 seconds before they throw the ball or first pressure. And that's tied for third most behind Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts. So one thing to note there is Cam Ward has tied for the third most time in the pocket to throw the ball, and he hasn't looked great. I think that's less O-line and more what weapons does he have. To me, it looks similar to Caleb Williams last year to some extent, where Caleb had the weapons last year, but he didn't have the offensive coordinator to actually know how to utilize them. And, I mean, Cam Ward doesn't have – if you take any of the Titans wide receivers – in half the NFL, they're not going to be the wide receiver 2 on a team, but that's what he's with as his wide receiver 1 and 2. So I think the Titans need to get some offensive weapons for Cam Ward. I'm not out on Cam Ward in dynasty leagues. Now, if anything, he's a buy low now or later, in my opinion. But he has flashes, but really the Titans need to do something to get around him. Secondly is just the other quarterback. Justin Herbert is looking phenomenal the year. He's a top 5 scoring quarterback, depending on your format. He's 4 or 5 right now. Chargers offense is looking amazing. Look at keep an eye on Fantasyholics Dynasty rankings. Those updated in the next week or 2 for your trade deadlines. But I bring that up because I had Justin Herbert as my quarterback 5 on the year to start. And, people were up in arms like, how can you have him top 5? This is what I expected out of him. This is what I expect out of the Chargers offense with everything they did. And that was without even expecting Quentin Johnston to do something. So, I for me, what sticks out fantasy wise is keep an eye on the quarterbacks. Cam Ward for next year, Justin Herbert, great pickup if you have him for the year.
Justin Herbert has the most rushing yards by a quarterback in the NFL this season.
What?
Yes.
Dead serious. I just had to vet it. I heard it on a different podcast a week ago. Justin Herbert, and quarterback rushing, I would have to say, is definitely down than the norm. We're halfway through the regular season now, not just the fantasy seasons. We're halfway through. So these numbers for the halfway point are fairly shocking to me, is on how low they are. But Justin Herbert, 305 yards rushing, that is tops in the league. Justin Fields behind him with 288. That shows you how much Fields actually runs the ball, because he's missed games and not started, but he still has 288 right on Herbert's ass. But then Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Drake May, these guys are at 280 or 285, 280, 270. Lamar Jackson missed multiple weeks, so he's way down. Lamar Jackson only has 180 rush yards on the year in total. But yeah, Justin Herbert leading the NFL in quarterback rushing yards, on top of what he's doing in the air. The Chargers are the rest of the Chargers skill players are just a little tougher to trust. You never want to bench Ladd or Allen or even QJ, because one or two of them are going to have a good game, maybe all three, but they're also usurping each other a little bit and not letting anyone have a giant game where they have 10 catches and 150 and two touchdowns. Gadsden continues to kick ass. What a wonderful waiver ad he's been.
I think the Herbert rushing yards is a beneficiary of him running for his life. They lost Joe Alt this week for like the second time this year. We've had some differentiating stats on different pages here, but pro.nfl.com shows Herbert quarterback pressures is first in the league with 165 pressures. Second is Cam Ward at 135. Third is Drake May at 130. Justin Herbert is 35 pressures ahead of third place. Like, he's under siege every snap, every game. And he's like, shit, I gotta roll out. I gotta do something. And he's got the mobility. It's not ideal for him, but for fantasy, get those rushing yards, man. He's these added rushing yards are a godsend for anybody who took him like, oh yeah, Herbert's good. He's got some good weapons, not thinking he'd get that many rushing yards. But man, yeah, he's really giving you some bonus yards on the ground and probably winning you some weeks.
He's had a couple monster runs too. Like big, like 38, 42 yard feel the game type of runs. That's obviously helping. You know what else is cool with Herbert? He's first in the NFL in quarterback rushing yards and second in the NFL in passing yards. So that certainly helps for fantasy. So yeah, man, Herbert's fucking awesome. He always has been.
Code.
He's
second
awesome
in touchdowns.
He's just a monster out there. He's even taller than like Josh Allen and Drake May. He's like 6'6", 6'7". He just looks like a Madden creative player.
Yeah.
So you go ahead with your Patriots, man. Thank God we finally got to see Travion Henderson, with no Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, and then
that huge game we wanted.
60% of the snaps and gives 40% of the snaps to another no-name rookie that I don't even know off the top of my head.
Harold Jenkins, who scored more fantasy points than him, I think.
Terrell Jenkins got the touchdown, got 11 rushing attempts, whereas Henderson had 14. Henderson did a little more, but he didn't get the touchdown. He had some pass catching too. Depending on your format, PPR format, Henderson scored more, but it's how do you have a second-year player taking 11 carries of the 25 versus your second round rookie. I mean, I get your own, prove your worth, old school Vrabel, but got to give Henderson the ball a little more. On the flip side, Drake May is like a top 3 quarterback on the year. I was completely wrong saying he's not going to do great. Like, he has been developed so well, it seems, that he's skyrocketed up my dynasty rankings. He's not top 5 just yet because, Jayden Daniels last year, CJ Stroud 2 years before that, where they did amazing, then fell off. Some I want to see more consistency, but our Patriots are number 1 in the AFC with the Colts losing. Like, I thought we were going to miss the playoffs. Right now, playoffs start next week. We have a bye. Like, what? It's coming together. Crazily enough, it's coming together. We just need to figure out our running back position a little more. I guess if it's working, but I'd rather us figure out who is the bell cow and not just kind of next guy up type of thing. But that's just me. I was baffled with how good we're doing, and it's working well.
Yeah, Drake May's awesome. He is elite. I feel like an idiot for fading him. If they give him some help, if he gets an alpha, good Lord. And
Jalen Waddle.
If they give him Jalen, the trade deadline passed, and they didn't give him an AJ Brown. They didn't give him a Jalen Waddle. They didn't get him a Jacoby Myers. Didn't give him. But man, I watch every game on Tuesday, Wednesday morning. Just so poised, confident, just ice water in his veins, like the kind of thing you want from a franchise quarterback. May is him. He looked awesome. I was hoping it was 28-3 at some point, but it wasn't. And that running back, I don't even. They said he went to a school in Florida that even I hadn't heard of, and there's Williams with a touchdown from Florida Polytechnic University. I went
Florida A&M.
Where the? I don't even know where that is. I live in Florida. Like, no clue where this place is. He somehow better than Travion Henderson. Who knew?
Undrafted rookie.
Who knew?
Now, I wouldn't say better. He got the touchdown. He had lower yards per carry. He didn't have much rushing. He just got the touchdown, like a Walker and Charbonnet, where Walker will get you to the red zone and Charbonnet will just say, "Ooh, dibs."
He's your very own Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. Congratulations.
Just with all this Patriots praise and talk, I would just like to bring up on the other side of the ball.
Yeah.
In my league of record, my most important league, I was up against the highest scoring team on the year. This team, amongst other studs, has Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey dropped 35 points on me, was the number 1 running back on the week.
Don't tell me he had Drake London too.
No, my team had Drake London, who said, "Fuck you, Christian McCaffrey. I'm going to score 38. So fuck off," and wiped out Christian McCaffrey and gave me a +4. So fuck you, CMC. Drake, motherfucking London, my dude.
Amazing game.
Sleeper pick for number 1 receiver on the year. He's up to receiver 5 or 6-ish on points per game after the monster performance. And, just keeps playing well. So much love for Drake London, man. Helped me get biggest part of me getting another W this week.
Yeah, he had a monster game. Amazing.
Man, Penix is the opposite of Drake May. Like, Penix and Caleb Williams look like they're scrambling for their lives every snap, even when they don't have to. Even when they have time in the pocket, they're like, let me make it more difficult and roll out.
Yeah. feel like we're talking so much about quarterbacks, but Mac Jones is making a case that he might be a starter for a random team next year if he moves on or gets traded.
He's getting
but
the Sam Darnold treatment. He's going to get
Yeah.
$150 million contract from some dumbass team. Like, let me look
Saints.
at the board here. What dumbass team is going to sign him?
Colts.
Oh, no. We're signing Daniel Jones to a $200 million contract.
Oh, the Saints. The Saints could give Mac Jones a fucking big deal.
Yep. Cardinals, if they move on from Murray,
Yeah.
would be interesting.
The Browns might just, who have the. Have the Browns ever seen a quarterback they don't like?
As long as they're mediocre or worse, then they love them.
Steelers, Rodgers retiring at the end of the year.
Oh
Mac
shit!
Jones on the Steelers.
That could be legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great game. I mean, you missed Scattaboo. You really hoped that Giants missed him. You missed watching him, but Dart's looking good.
As long as he doesn't get hurt, he just keeps looking for contact every time he runs with the ball.
He's the quarterback version of Cam Scatterbo, right?
He spent too much time with Scatterbo, and so but hey, the train's rolling. Dart has looked better running and passing than anybody assumed he would. The weapons are shaky. We're talking, Wandale and Slayton. Slayton at least jumped back into some relevance. He had double digits, got you like 5 for 60 or something like that. Slayton's a decent waiver ad. The Niners, Kittle's been disappointing since he came back. McCaffrey just continues to siphon the health off of everyone else on that team just to keep doing what he's doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to mention this. Jackson Dart's not a quarterback version of Scattaboo. He's the quarterback version of Anthony Richardson.
Oh, no.
Just looking for contact. Anthony Richardson is just looking for contact. But Richardson's not a quarterback. So, he's the quarterback version of Richardson.
So, how many games has Dart played in the NFL at this point?
Probably more than Richardson.
5.
Yes.
5. And wait, he might have more passing yards and more rushing yards than AR on his career. I don't know. Maybe that's a stretch.
Passing yards, yes.
Dart has played in 6 games.
I think he didn't start. I think he just played, came in one of them. I think he started 5.
97% of snaps. So
okay.
I think yeah.
Career numbers wise, it'd be a cool comparison.
No. Richardson has more passing yards.
How many more starts though?
Richardson over 11 starts had 1,800. He's on 6 starts. Dart is 6 starts for 1,100. So Dart's on pace to just barely beat him.
I guess AR did throw. He had some games with some big bomb Alec Pierce type touchdowns.
AR is going to have rushing yards on average. AR has 500 on his season, and Dart's only had 250 in 6 games. So, but no, that was just a comment of running head on and not caring about being hit. Like that was the main gripe about Richardson is you need to know how to go down because you can't just take those hits in the NFL. And Scattaboo had that problem, and you'd hate to see an electric player like Dart go down because of that. So if he can learn to protect himself a little more, keep going, he's looking great.
Yep.
Imagine when Malik Neighbors is back next year.
Right.
And when they draft another receiver and they have Wandale.
Yeah.
Hopefully they. So I don't know how it works out contractually. Do the Niners trade Purdy and keep Jones?
You can't. After giving him that contract, you
gotta keep
can't.
Purdy.
No one's going to take Purdy on that contract either. If you're actively
The
trying to
Browns
trade
might.
Purdy with that contract, no one's going to trade for him. Yeah, besides maybe the Browns.
Browns. Or the Jets. Some poverty franchise will do something dumb.
All right, Colts fan.
Yeah.
Do we just throw that game away? Do we say that is the anomaly? That's the exception to the rule with how good they've looked against all forms of competition so far this year? Do we just go, okay, they overlooked the Steelers. The Steelers figured something out. Just right back to loving the Colts as far as fantasy goes? Or is there some worry in Colts Nation?
They've been watching film. They knew where to attack Jones. I'd rather this loss come in week 9 than like AFC championship game, divisional playoff game. Like, you need a loss to regroup, focus on some weaknesses. They're going to struggle. I think they're struggling this week. They play the Falcons in Germany. Germany or
I think it is Germany. Germany or
almost positive. They're overseas versus the Falcons, who have statistically a very good defense. They've stymied a lot of teams. They look like crap versus the Dolphins. I hope the Colts staff watches that Dolphins-Falcons game with a fine-tooth comb and look at every way the Dolphins exploited them. I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts struggle again, but 2 bad weeks to focus on your weaknesses, and that's what good teams do. You find out your weakness early, you rebound. It sucked. It wasn't a great game. The Colts came back. Jones looked really bad. He looked really bad. 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles. You can't win them all. It's a learning experience. If you win every game, you're not going to learn. One is a 7-point loss isn't that bad. They
for them
really
to be negative.
Steelers really bottled up Taylor too. That was they need to. Not only should the Colts look at what the Dolphins did to the Falcons, the Colts need to watch what the Steelers did to them, and it's a good learning experience. And I hope that they'll come away a better team from it.
I would just like to say I really take nothing away from it. I think I'm still rolling Daniel Jones out. I'm still obviously rolling Jonathan Taylor out.
You're not benching Jonathan Taylor?
Pittman, nope, not benching him. Pittman was still very good. Pittman got over 100 in this game. Jones, even despite looking bad, had a solid fantasy day. He ended up as the quarterback 11 or 12 or so. So he didn't even really disappoint despite being disappointing on the field for real football purposes. So my takeaway is nothing. You're not benching Tyler Warren either. You're just rolling out. You look at where this was the week 9. I'm taking the whole body of work before this game and going on that more so than the Steelers figuring something out here. So that's my takeaway from the Colts is I don't view them any differently than I did going into this game.
Yeah, I mean,
Alec Pierce looks really good. Pierce has really solidified himself. I thought he was just like some gadget home run guy, but Pierce is legit. Warren will struggle this week. The Falcons are insanely good against tight end, and it's in Germany. I think I have Warren kind of low this week, but
Pierce
we got Sauce Gardner. We got Sauce.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Pierce made the
Sauce
waiver.
Gardner. And, Sauce. Kenny Moore. No fly zone.
My key thing with Pierce when I looked into his numbers was you always assume he's a very boom bust guy. He has 4 games this season with over 10 points and another game with 9 points. So yeah, Alec Pierce has been steady Eddie to leave in your lineup. So nice waiver ad. He's out there in a pretty high percentage of normal ESPN redraft leagues at this point.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it from a Colts perspective, you can say, hey, we were -5 in turnover differential and we kept it within 7 points. We didn't win it, but let's check that in the positive column, because if you can be -5 turnovers and still keep it as a 7-point game, you can work on that. You can work on the 3 interceptions, the 3 fumbles that they had. Like that. I don't want to say a loss is a good thing, but that's something that's not like it was terrible on the Colts. It was that many turnovers is a fluke, even for terrible teams. 6 turnovers in a game is a fluke. So ignore that game. Just put a sticky note over it so you can't see it anymore and just move on to next week.
Yeah, same with DK Metcalf's performance. Although he's been nothing like we thought.
No,
We assumed the hyper target Aaron Rodgers treatment, and Metcalf has been solid points wise. He hasn't really disappointed you too much this year. Probably disappointed you, but hasn't like fucked you over. This week you got fucked over. He had 2 catches for 6 yards in that game. Ugh. But almost every receiver.
That was without Sauce Gardner.
Yeah. Well, the way that game played out, they would have put Sauce Gardner on Calvin Austin because that's who was burning the Colts that game.
Yeah.
But
surgical.
Can't imagine you're benching DK Metcalf. Possibly. There's the way the season's played out. You could have a better third receiver, I suppose, than Metcalf in some scenarios. But, yeah, not much to say on the Steelers side, I don't think. Calvin Austin's a decent dart throw ad if you've got the bench space for him.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Mike Tomlin. This win kept you in Pittsburgh another 2 years.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll never leave.
Never.
RJ Harvey scored again for the Broncos.
UCF.
Just when we were saying last week, don't start him
no.
like it's a fluke. He's looking to be a good pass catching back. And I mean,
yet I'm still terrified to start him.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't just let it go.
If it's like
Harvey, he's so versatile. He was a quarterback. I believe he started at Virginia as a quarterback. He did a lot of like under center wildcat stuff at UCF. Phenomenal pass catcher. I don't know if my UCF homerism's showing too much, but he's a perfect yin to the yang. Dobbins looks awesome. This game sucked to watch. It was brutal.
Stuff.
It was a defensive battle. It was the complete opposite of Bengals Bears.
Yeah. My only takeaway is if you got like 3 flex spots, I'm considering Harvey, maybe, but otherwise you're starting Nix, and maybe Woody Marks, Nico Collins. Even the Broncos wide receivers are hard to tell who to start. So it's kind of fantasy-wise, outside of Knicks, it's kind of a flex if you need it kind of players. And Nico Collins, assuming he's healthy.
Every year we have a couple players where we're always so worried about them in the offseason because, that guy was good, but it was all touchdowns. James Cook last year is a good example. It's been proven wrong going into this year because he's been fucking incredible with yardage and touchdowns. But who's that Green Bay tight end, Tanyan, that one year? He was like the tight end 5 on the year, and it was just all fucking touchdowns. RJ Harvey's entire production has been touchdowns.
Yep.
The games, if you take it, just look at his game log and just remove the touchdown. Now, that's a crazy way to Azer stat things, but it's the truth. Like, if he doesn't score, he's useless. I mean, this past week he got that receiving touchdown, I guess. If you take away that receiving touchdown, what did he? Geez, if you had him in your starting lineup, you'd have just been devastated. So
I was sweating.
Yeah, it is. it's just a weird thing, man. I have Dobbins and Harvey on my league of record as I went with a zero RB build, and it's just been rolling Dobbins out, and it's been okay for the most part. And there's lots of weeks, like even this week, where oh shit, I should have put Harvey in instead of Dobbins or whoever my other running back was, but I just don't have the testicular fortitude to fucking put Harvey in that starting spot because I just know it'll be the week that he only has 2 catches for 9 yards and no rushes and no touchdowns, and I'm just gonna fucking cry myself to sleep. But he's getting more involved. He's talented. Hopefully, Sean Payton mixes him in more, and by the time we get to the fantasy playoffs, you can be super confident to start RJ Harvey.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, scrimmage yards, RJ Harvey's averaging 40 scrimmage yards a game. It's 22 rushing, 18 receiving. It's not, but he has the touchdowns. And
Yeah.
if that can continue, if it becomes like he's the goal line back, or if he gets, those screen plays to get up at the goal line or whatnot, like that's helpful for sure. But I'd want more than 2 weeks of touchdowns to say, lock him in your flex or start flexing him. Like I'm still 50-50. If it gets 4 weeks where he gets a touchdown each week, now you're starting to talk about, okay, I'm gonna put him in my flex. Even if he has a down week, I'm gonna put him back in. Like let's get a little more consistency with the touchdowns to see if he's getting that goal line work or if he's getting those opportunities for it, and not just say, okay, he got this. Like, not to say it's a fluke, but let's see a little more consistency in what he can get.
Yeah, so Cortland Sutton, 1 catch for a touchdown. Weird stuff. Sutton's very good. I don't know what's going on there where they're just not. I don't know if there's.
I don't know.
It could be the team's defensive game plan is to just shut down Sutton and say, beat us some other way, which makes sense. I mean, beat me with Marvin Mims and Evan Ingram and Troy Franklin. It checks out, but it's a little bit scary hours for Cortland Sutton. I mean, thank God he got you in the end zone and didn't just give you a complete shit week. But another guy that's I can't really see many scenarios where you're benching Cortland Sutton in a normal redraft league. Maybe in some dynasty leagues where you've built up some juggernaut team, Cortland Sutton is just bench depth for you. But in most leagues, you're not benching him.
The Texans defense is amazing. If you have a player that you're relying on going up against the Texans, I mean, hold your breath and pray. You're not going to get much.
Yeah.
They're 4th fewest passing yards per game. I think 4th fewest yards per game total. Let me refresh this. Texans defense is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I was afraid of it going into this game. I had Collins ranked fairly low. Coming off concussion, great, impossible matchup. Even with Surtain out, wrong side of the ball. The Texans' defense is phenomenal. They are the opposite of the Cowboys Bengals.
Yeah, man, they certainly are. This next game was fun. This was Packers Bengals light when it came to fantasy points and scoring. 30-29 Jags Raiders, Walmart brand Bears Bengals, I suppose. But
both teams were playing so hard for a tie, and just one team didn't get it.
The first stat I want to bring up is my weekly Ashton Genty check-in to coincide with my thoughts early in the season about him being crazily overrated to be a first-round draft pick. After 9 weeks now, we are looking at Ashton Genty averaging in full PPR 14.5 points per game as the RB16 in points per game. And you took him as a first-round draft pick. And a huge amount of Genty's production came in like one monster game and one very good game. So he hasn't even been getting you 12, 13, 14 a game. It's been 2 booms and some 6 and 7 point games and shit like that. So I don't even want to say that I'm not even a Genty hater. I hated where you had to take him in redraft. He's
Yeah.
still obviously a kick-ass asset in Dynasty, and maybe even a trade for buy semi-low. Nobody's given away in Dynasty by any means, but maybe you can finesse him for a little bit more productive, slightly older back if he's on a contending team in Dynasty. But yeah, man, 14 and a half a game, RB 16. He went over Jonathan Taylor in every fucking redraft league.
Yeah.
ADP wise, he was like 11, 12, and Johnny Taylor was a late second round pick. Clockwork every draft I saw, at least.
Yep. Same here.
Genty only had 138 yards versus the Bears.
Azer stat the Bears game out and see what Genty's year-long stats look like.
Yeah,
he doesn't have more than 75 yards, I believe. No, his outside of the Bears game, 75 yards is his max rushing.
Now, the Raiders were the worst, if not the worst in the league. So that's hopefully they help address that to help Gent. You can't draft a running that and then say, well, you just got to being behind the line of scrimmage on an average rush. Like, work on that, and Genty's a good, a quote bound dynasty. But I mean, my takeaway from them is you see that Pete Carroll's still passing it on the 2-yard line.
Passing from the 2-yard line and chewing that gum so ferociously. Pete Carroll's jaw muscles rival like a hyena or a pit bull. The motherfucker chews gum like he's trying to destroy the gum. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll could take a direct shot from Mike Tyson right in the chin and just not even flinch.
Tyson would be like, shit.
That's all you got?
Yeah.
Amazing. How hard to hate Pete Carroll.
He does some great stuff, but questionable line. But I mean, he's doing things for sure.
It's a shame they didn't trade Jacoby Myers mid-game. Just go from like locker room to locker room.
Yep.
Like, oh, surprise, you're on this team now. Like, I know your whole playbook.
Makes sense. It'd be fun. NFL start allowing shit like that if the teams are both sucky. You guys are never making the playoffs. Go ahead, swap. You can have their receiver.
Yeah. Next one.
Brian Thomas is dealing with like an ankle sprain of some variety, so he might be out. Trading for Myers might even be a more clarify that more that he is going to miss some time. Travis Hunter, we already knew was on IR. Apparently, they're doing some deeper dive type exam tomorrow, or they were doing it today to see if it is any type of torn ligaments or if he could potentially come back after the 4 weeks. So, yeah, it looks like the Jacoby Myers / Parker Washington show. Doesn't sound too sexy on paper. Parker Washington, even with the Jacoby Myers ad, I think is still very arguably the best fantasy ad for the week. He had a solidified role even when Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter were on the field. So, sure, they just brought in Jacoby Myers. He's been there for 5 minutes. I'd imagine Washington's the focal point of the passing game, at least the first week, if not the next 2. But we'll see. It's certainly not someone you're hyped to put in your lineup, but what do you have? 10 targets, 9 catches, something along those lines this past game?
Yeah, worth the ad for sure.
Yep. ETN, this was his best game. I know Tootin was the one that got in the end zone, but it was very much the ETN show. He looked good. He was coming off a stretch. I'm pretty sure we touched on this last week. ETN hadn't looked good, but he was coming off just a murderer's row of like 3 or 4 games back to back where they played really good rushing defense teams, and it was nice to see him perform and get you like double digits in in fantasy again, and Tootin certainly a good cuff to him and might be more involved with these pass catchers being down. But I like ETN. Glad I didn't bail on him or trade him too low. He again with the pass rushers down, the both running backs could just become a more focal part of the offense for the remainder of the season.
Yep.
And the Jaguars, they only need to gain like 20 or 30 yards and let Cam Little kick it like 60 or 70 yards, get 3 points every possession.
Oh, you know what? It was a good fuck the Cowboys moment because they tried to have Brandon Aubrey come out and beat, or tie or beat that record.
He missed badly.
They can't let this poor kid. He just set the all-time NFL record. And he's gonna lose it the fucking next day, and Aubrey shanked that bitch. I was like, yeah, fuck you, Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys.
Shed a little tear in his whatever weird drink Jerry drinks. I don't even know. He probably drinks some weird old mixed drink that like bars don't even make anymore.
No,
like
Celsius.
Liquid
totally
filling in it or something. Ugh, weird guy. Even though he has money, he probably smells like a old guy. Like he smells like an old folks home. He masks it with expensive cologne, but you can smell it under that cologne.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Did you guys know Matthew Stafford is the only
He's younger
quarterback-
than Tyler Shuck.
Wow.
What's your real stat, Zach?
That was good. Matthew Stafford is the only quarterback who has more than 10 points on the season to have negative rushing yards. Matthew Stafford is sitting at a whopping -6 rushing yards on the season.
He's full
he's
Brady
still-
right now. He's not doing anything. He's
He's quarterback 9. He has 21 touchdown passes. Like he's doing great, but his upside is limited in that rushing because I'm scrolling through. I'm like, okay, points on the season. Where's the next negative? Okay, the next is Cooper Rush, who has 6 points on the season and he has -4 rushing yards. And then the next one after that, Anthony Richardson with 2 points on the season with -1 rushing yard. Like Stafford he has that limited upside because the rushing, but 21 passing touchdowns on the season, 2 interceptions. Like he's doing some great things. He only has had really one bad game against Baltimore. Like he's pretty consistent for you in that quarterback 8 to 10 range. That's my one takeaway from this very weird
I have
game. And Shaq was
I have the stats in a 6-point passing touchdown league with no other weird bonuses. It's the Fantasy Holics 3 Dynasty League, which has very normal scoring. So I always reference this for when we talk about points per game and points on the season. On a points per game front in 6-point passing touchdowns, Matthew Stafford's quarterback 5 on the season right now.
Yeah.
With a 25.7 average. And yes, in fact, he does have negative rushing yards on the season and is still the quarterback 5 per game. So that's pretty awesome. He's such a success story for Superflex leagues because, man, he was just in Superflex startup drafts. I didn't do as many startup drafts this offseason because I was already in too many leagues, but I watched him consistently be the second to last or third to last starting quarterback drafted for Superflex leagues. It was, you got down to a point where it was basically Geno Smith, Matt Stafford, and Aaron Rodgers were the last 3 quarterbacks you could take if you were, if you did a little QB punt or 0 QB build. And my God, if you have Matt Stafford, he's the quarterback 5 per game. And you got him as just free money as your second quarterback or third quarterback or whatever. It's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks amazing. I know Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams makes you feel a lot better. He's laying it in there. His passes are faster and more accurate than ever. I don't know if he got that epidural in his back or if they just got something else to help his back out. He looks like he's 27 years old. He's really at it, almost in his prime. he looks like he could play another 7 more years, which
Yeah.
is crazy. He's got 21 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. That's
He's an example of what we're seeing from guys like Barkley and Derrick Henry. Just the advancements in sports science and taking care of yourself, and his arm talent and his knowledge of football and the experience he's had playing in the league all these years, and the fact that he's got Puka and Devontae Adams and Sean McVay, one of the better offensive minds in recent years, running the show. It all checks out. It just the only thing working against Stafford is his lack of mobility, and if age catches up to him. And it seems like so far so good. He's not getting the shit kicked out of him. They seem to have found ways to protect him / get the ball out of his hands quick enough. And if Matt Stafford is healthy, watch the fuck out. There's no reason this isn't going to continue.
and he's throwing quick per this pro.nfl.com site that I get a lot of my statistics from. Stafford has 2.7 seconds to throw, which is like 5th worst in the NFL. He has to get the ball out quick. Thankfully, he's got Nakua and Adams to help him out, but Stafford's like under fire immediately, and he needs an Andrew Whitworth to bail him out. But Stafford's firing on all cylinders, and he's like QB1 every week.
I love Andrew Whitworth's outfit.
No, you don't.
I wonder what he's going to wear on Thursday Night Football next week.
A hoodie and a blazer.
Oh man, I bet he's going to change. This is the week he's going to change it up. I know it. Fucking stupid, Andrew Whitworth. I'll say that to his face too. 6'8", 330 pounds. You big fuck. Get a better outfit. We're an hour and 50 in almost, and we didn't even get to the look forward to next week. So I gotta hit the head, but I'll be right back. You guys start on the Bills Chiefs recap, because that was a pretty fun one.
We'll do buzz through the other two in quick preview, but for me, doing the Chiefs was a great game to watch. Bills defense really held the Chiefs in check. I mean, the Chiefs offense had been looking great the past few games, and they just couldn't much. I mean, Patrick Mahomes had 250 yards, 1 interception, no touchdowns. He only rushed once for 5 yards. A miracle if you can only Mahomes to rush once for 5 yards. I mean, Rice had 80 yards on 4 receptions. Hollywood Brown had 73 yards and 2 receptions. They couldn't do much with that. It was something where, I mean, it was only one turnover that the Chiefs had that the Bills forced, and that was just a terrible pass by Mahomes. If you saw that intercept by Mahomes, he just lollied that out. The receiver that was deep, short, and the defender just grabbed it out of midair. Like, it seemed so unlike the Chiefs of how the game played out, that you wonder if there's kind of kinks in their ability to really perform at the high level that they're used to.
Well, I don't believe I saw Taylor once the entire broadcast. I was kind of in and out. Throwing Patty Mahomes is back. I love passing Patty. I love when he throws for 4,500 to 5,000 yards. I don't want to see 3,750 yard Patrick Mahomes. I want him throwing 35 to 40 to 45 times a game. It's just more fun. It's just like Kareem Hunt looks like he's running an oatmeal a lot of times. Pacheco's hurt. Rashard Smith, who knows what he is. They're going to have to throw a lot. But it was a great battle of AFC elite. Don't think it'll be AFC title game. Colts might sneak their way in.
Patriots?
Maybe
Yeah, not this year.
next year. Next year, Colts, Patriots.
I'll take it.
Lock it in.
Are they 1-2 seeds right now? If the AFC playoffs started right now, are they the 1-2?
Patriot. Yeah. Oh, for some reason I thought I saw the Patriots as the 1. It's the Colts are the 1. It's 1-2. And 3.
I forgot. There's only one bye week team at this point. Yeah.
3, the Denver Broncos. All are 7-2.
Oh shit.
But the one other thing I'll add is the Bills did what they needed to win the game. Is they had a ton of rushing yards. I think it was over 140, almost 150, and they possessed the ball just under 10 minutes more than the Chiefs. So the Chiefs had to do big plays, which sure they have Rice to come back and do that some, but the Chiefs offense is more meticulous now. They can't deal much with penalties. They need to just keep going, and you can't get in a rhythm when the opponent has 10 more minutes of possession than you. That the Bills did what they needed to win, and it felt like it was the game was a higher point differential than just being within a touchdown.
Yeah. I think the Chiefs are still reeling from that Super Bowl loss.
They're third in their division right now. 5-4. Yeah. Chargers 6-3. Broncos 7-2. Like it's crazy to think the Chiefs are third and just barely out of the playoffs. Jacksonville is beating the Chiefs right now and ahead of Chiefs. Now they're 5-3, so they've had their bye and the Chiefs haven't. But right now Jacksonville's in the playoffs and the Chiefs aren't.
Like come playoff time in the AFC, you have to run the ball in cold weather, be it Buffalo, Denver, New England. I don't think the Chiefs can run the Pittsburgh. I don't think the Kareem Hunt, and he's got it done before. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like they're another year older. The Chiefs are just hanging on by a thread. They're going to have to throw all day, every day, because I don't think they have the run game to get it done.
I mean, what I'll say about the Chiefs is that we're at the halfway point, so plenty of season left. Yeah. Is anybody on earth going to be shocked if the Chiefs figure it out and just go on a big run, and instead of maybe figuring out the rushing game, they just figure out how to get the short passing game with Worthy and Rashee Rice and Kelsey working, and Kareem Hunt's good enough to just get you the short yardage goal line touchdowns and get you the short first downs. And just it's way too early into the season for me to just write off the Andy Reid and
Andy Reid's so good.
The referee's favorite quarterback and
Spagnuolo.
Spags. Great defensive mind. They still have a defense with multiple very good pieces on it. So
yeah.
The Bills tend to always beat them in the regular season and vice versa in the playoffs.
Yeah. There's a lot to be determined because the Chiefs still have 4 divisional games, 2 against the Broncos. So that's going to be very interesting. And now it's their next game is at Denver, but it's after a bye week. So you almost have to favor the Chiefs a little. It's going to be very interesting to see how those 4 divisional games play out for the Chiefs, because that's going to impact where they are in the division, where they're in playoffs so much.
Andy Reid never loses after his bye week. Yeah. It's like an all-time record. I don't think the entire time he was the Eagles coach here, I don't think he lost after a bye week once, even when they had like shitty teams. He's like the all-time king of figuring out a game plan over the bye week. So I'd almost take the Chiefs on that money line that week.
Yeah.
Alrighty, man. The Seahawks, I touched on it a little bit. We got to see this as a spotlight game on Sunday Night Football. Absolute masterful passing mind meld between Darnold and JSN. Throw in the 2 Horton touchdowns. They just got Rashid Shaheed to help with stretching the field out. fuck those two running backs. Once again, they were both useless for you.
Yep.
It's almost I almost feel I have Charbonnet on my League of Record team. Again, it was a 0 RB build. I thought, hey, let me grab Charbonnet. He'll be money if Walker's out. Maybe he'll take the job. No, of my bench, where every week I have to look at my bench and do some hard takes and say, who am I dropping to pick up a defense or to pick up the hot new waiver ad? I almost want to drop Charbonnet on my waiver wire just to be a grenade, so somebody else has to fucking deal with this bullshit.
And see what they drop.
Yeah, and see who they drop, because I bet they'll end up dropping somebody that's going to be more fucking useful to my team than Zach Charbonnet. And I don't have Ken Walker, but I'd feel the same exact way about Walker, because they're both giving you a dog shit sandwich every week.
Yep. Sure. Yeah, I mean, for me, the biggest thing in that game is you hate to see Jaden Daniels go down, especially that late in the game with the game out of reach, why he was still playing, that injury. It just was avoidable. You hate to see it. He had such a great year last year, and now he just can't seem to get healthy. But, I mean, JSN's looking great, but I really hope that Daniels was going to come back and, really do well, and he's not.
I mean, believe it or not, like 230-something wide receivers wasn't the best move. And then, like, Zach Ertz must be 38 years old.
Yeah.
Well, thank God it was Daniel's non-throwing arm. I heard, like, gruesome arm injury. I have the world's second weakest stomach. I haven't seen it. I don't want to know.
Don't watch it.
I can't believe that more horrific injuries don't happen, just like fall into the ground. I'm glad it was his left arm, apparently, and I hope the Commanders do something to. Was it like was he scrambling, or was it like a offensive line collapse? Or like I didn't see it. I don't want to see it because I can't.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I saw the picture of it, and that was it.
I don't want to see it.
Yeah, I didn't look at like the overall what happened on the play. He just more or less got tackled from behind-ish, and the way he was falling, the defender and his own body weight all just made the arm bend the wrong way.
Yeah.
It sucks. I was very very hesitant on the Manders being really good this year, just based on last year. That last year was such a magical thing for them. Daniels stepped in. It just he no one can deny how good he looked last year. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. I mean, they went into fucking Detroit in the playoffs and beat the fucking Lions in Detroit.
Yeah.
Fucking A, man. I mean, that's a mini Super Bowl for them, for a rookie quarterback and a team that was projected for like 5 wins or whatever they were. Amazing. But there's a reason that they had the second overall pick in the draft and were projected for 5 wins. It was a fucking, a house of cards, a house of wet cards. Like it just, there was no way. I didn't think there was any shot they could improve on that, let alone even do that again. And here we are. Now you take away Jaden Daniels from it, and woof.
They'll be picking top 3 next year, probably.
It looks like it, and Daniels is certainly a nice target for Dynasty. If you figure on most teams that paid up to own or roster Jaden Daniels in Dynasty considered themselves or fancy themselves contenders, and if they're still in the playoff mix or what have you, you could probably get Jaden Daniels. If you're a rebuilder, get Jaden Daniels for whatever healthy quarterback you have and a pick, or whatever healthy quarterback you have and a receiver or running back. I mean, just put some offers, get a conversation started, because if a contender was leaning on him as one of their top 2 quarterbacks, they're in a position that they're probably willing to sell him.
For sure.
just don't lowball. Don't be a douchebag. Don't send them, hey, here's fucking Jacoby Brissett for your Jaden Daniels, or here's Tua in a 4th round pick.
Jacoby's looking pretty good.
Don't be a douchebag. Just fucking make a fair offer for Daniels, so you don't just piss off or scare away their that team. Get a normal conversation started.
In one of my leagues, we started. I co-owned with someone else. We offered to a borderline playoff team that a guy seems like he's want to compete in: Joe Flacco, Nico Collins, and an early third for Jaden Daniels as a starter. And we haven't even heard back. And this is he put Jaden Daniels on the trade block last week and this week. He's looking at him, figuring, okay, you can get Flacco, who's doing great. Nico Collins will go in your flex. And and a pick, we figured we'd at least hear something back from him. And
Flacco, say no more.
I don't think that's a low ball. It might not be what he's looking for, but it's a conversation starter. At least we would have thought.
I like that a lot. If I'm a heavy contender and I just lost J-Day and put him on the block and you sent me that, I might ask you to bump that to a second or something like that. But with the way Flacco's, I look at it like this: with the way Flacco's playing, he's helping your team more than Daniels had all season. Flacco's fucking chucking it, man.
Yeah.
Nico is, you said flex. I'd still view him as a top. Just in dynasty asset wise, I still think Nico is like a top 12-ish wide receiver. It's hard to maybe top 15-ish. So, just look at it. If a startup draft going right now for Superflex, Nico is probably a fucking 2nd or 3rd round pick, I guess. I don't think much later than that. So I don't view that as a low ball offer at all. And if I'm a high contender, fuck yeah, I'm taking that. I'm not going to throw in the towel on my season. If I can, I look at Nico as like a valuable long-term asset too. So it's not like you're selling out for 2 super ancient pieces or something like that.
Yeah, he's a borderline playoff team, but he doesn't have his 26th first. So it sounds it's almost like a perfect win-win for the two of us. But yeah,
if you don't have your own first, then you're fucking insane not to go for it hard at this point in the season. So yeah, shit, dude. I'd resend the offer, fucking shoot a DM to that guy, see if he can't pull it off.
Yeah. I think we talked a lot about this last game already. Some Jacoby Brissett, Marvin Harrison Jr., Cowboys bumping up their defense. Anything you want to add about that before we move to our Week 10 preview?
Brissett is better than Murray, and I hate that there's a world where there's a Jaquan Brisker and a Jacoby Brissett. It just feels that too close, too similar. The names are so close. I'm like Jacoby Brisker. That's wrong. And then I'm thinking brisket and just
you're start getting hungry,
fat boys. Fat boys on tomorrow night and Sunday mornings, and
I guess the
better.
Only quick hit on this is, yet again, I basically had to wait till the very last play of Monday Night Football to decide my matchup.
Yep, I lost.
Me too.
I went into the Monday Night Football game. My opponent was up by 2.6 points and had Dak Prescott still, and I was down 2.6 and had Trey McBride and Javonte Williams. Looking good. McBride had the good game. Dak wasn't doing much. Back and forth. Dak finally starts to put some passing yards together. Towards the very end there, he threw a short pass to Javonte. Javonte fumbled. I was like, fuck, that's -2 for Javonte, who hadn't been doing much. I checked the score. My opponent is only down by 5 points. And the Cowboys have the ball, and if the Cowboys drove down and got a touchdown thrown by Dak, I lose. So I literally had to wait for that Dak interception at the very end to know that my matchup was finished up. So
same exact here. I ended up winning by 1.5 points, 2.5 points, because he had Dak and threw that interception and they didn't get the ball back. And it was perfect timing. I was like, and this is the number 1 team, 2 team in the league right now. And I'm not trying to compete, but I'm a borderline playoff team rebuilding, kind of coming team. And I'm 4-5, and like 3 of my wins have been against the top teams because I just have pulled it off. But like I'm sitting here with Woody Marks, who did nothing, Odunze, who had 0 points, and I pulled it off because Caleb Williams had me a hell of a game.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, it always seems you always have one matchup that always goes to the last minute.
Well,
of Monday
mine's
night.
my fucking league of record team. My
Yep.
biggest money, the league I care about. It's every fucking week goes to the end of Monday Night Football. It's batshit crazy. I don't know who Monday Night Football is next week. I guess we'll see on the next slide. But I bet it involves players that Eagles. Let's see, Eagles, Packers. I really don't.
You're going to
have
watch
any-
that game all the way through, no matter what, because
of course, because it's my birds. But I can't say yet. I mean, I could pull up my league on ESPN, but I don't have any Packers or Eagles. But I guarantee you somehow that my opponent for next week has like Saquon and Hurts and Jacobs or something, and I'm gonna have to fucking sweat bullets till the last snap of Monday Night Football again.
Yep.
That's why we played this damn game, to sweat it out from Thursday at 8 till Monday at midnight. Like 5 days of agony for what? Just to like for what? For
Yeah.
what? Yeah, I had Javonte and CeeDee Lamb. I needed anything. A reception that could have lost 10 yards would have sealed the deal. No, I lost by 0.8 of a point because the entire last series, when the Cowboys were only down 10, they could have scored, maybe, not likely, got an onside kick, anything, literally anything. Dak was like full on Jameis Winston mode, just throwing it into quadruple coverage. Thanks, Dak. Thanks, Brian Schottenheimer. Thanks, Jera. Thanks, Stephen A.
Well, I just had to look it up, boys. My opponent next week, Matthew Golden, is the only Packer or Eagle that he has. So
now, if he starts them,
there's really no super studs on waivers. So I think I can finally, I will know my matchup at least by the end of Sunday Night Football, and I could just enjoy Monday Night Football for shits and giggles next week, and as an Eagles fan.
Yeah. Looking at this next week, we got a lot of wide receivers on bye. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Pickens, Lamb. We even got Rice and Worthy and Hollywood Brown who are doing well. So some slimmer pickings on the top end of wide receiver. We have a Berlin game, Falcons, Colts in Berlin this week. So note, it is a Sunday morning game we have this next week. Remember that for setting your lineups. Don't wait till an hour before the first slate of games. Have your lineup set Saturday night because of that, knowing you're going to have someone on the bench or you're going to have a flex player injury that you're going to, it's going to mess you up if you don't look. But
take the under, just that'll be an abysmal 14-10, 13-10. It's not going to be. The Falcons defense is phenomenal. The Colts bulked up. They got sauce. I mean, yeah. Just temper your expectations for Drake London, Pittman, Jonathan Taylor, Bijan, especially Tyler Warren. Not a good. The Falcons are number 1 against tight ends by a colossal margin.
Yep. I mean, and looking at it this week, you have a lot of divisional games. Raiders, Broncos, Bills, Dolphins. You got Jaguars, Texans, Cardinals, Seahawks, Rams, 49ers, Saints, Panthers.
Yep, Saints, Panthers. It's the NFC South.
You got a ton of divisional games. Those are always a coin flip. It's going to be very interesting and very exciting game, I think, with so many divisional games. I mean, we're at about the 2 hour 10 mark. Any pick a game or two that's really going to stick out to you, and why for this next week?
Bears, Giants, shit defenses. I don't want to call the Giants a shit defense because they have a fantastic defensive line. Like Brian Burns, I think, is leading the NFL in sacks at this point. So hard to call them a shit defense, but they do tend to give up yards and points. So that should be fun fantasy wise. Fire up the usuals there. I'd assume Roma Dunze gets you more than 0 points.
It is a shit defense. They've given up the 7th most points to quarterbacks and wide receivers and 2nd most to running backs. Like it's for fantasy wise, at the very least, they're going to have more points fantasy than the Bears right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of like broad overview. There's so few people that are like borderline starters. You have your studs. You start your studs. Is there any players looking at this slate that you are a little bit worried about? That is just an easy start. Usually, I don't really think so. I don't see any matchups where I'm like, holy shit, I got to bench this guy. Like with the Texans, we were just talking about how nice the Texans defense has been playing. I'm not super hyped to start any Jaguar. I'm probably still starting Travis Etienne, but I don't know. Is there anybody that you're a little nervous about this week that you might pump the brakes on starting? That you normally
Garrett Wilson versus the Browns.
Okay, yeah, it would be his first game back in like a month.
Yeah,
we don't know who's throwing him the ball.
Yeah, presumably Fields. There's 2 I have question marks that I'd be looking at. I'll say this just because it's Mile High Stadium. Is Genty versus the Broncos. Thursday night, short week. Broncos are not giving up a lot of points to running backs. If you have another running back that you can have start, I mean, you have 2 good running backs, 1.5 on bye, so there should be potential other running backs that you can have. The other for me is wide receivers for the Colts. You got a Berlin game. It's overseas. The fields aren't going to be great. The Falcons are good against wide receivers, or better than the average. It's a game where it's just all those circumstances make me question, okay, can I really start Pittman or Downs or Alec Pierce? Or, are you starting Alec Pierce in Berlin over, say, RJ Harvey against the Raiders? Like, it's one of those where I'm going to second guess some of those picks, the wide receivers for the Colts, just because of the situation of the matchup and an international field.
I hope Drake London doesn't get 3 touchdowns. I hope he doesn't get 3 catches. I don't. I hope not.
Yeah.
Not that anybody should be starting him or any of these guys, but the Commanders minus Jaden Daniels, those running backs, whether it's Krusky Merritt or Chris Rodriguez, who looked a little better this week, they're going to go ahead and get boat raced early by the Lions. So I don't really see a scenario where the Manders running backs are really even getting touches. I'm pretty sure whoever's in there is just going to be dropping back and pass pro, trying to give Mariota 3 seconds to fucking throw the ball so they can play catch up. So if you are still rolling out Bill from the early season hype, don't do that. There's guys on waivers that you could start over Bill. Devin Singletary, Isaiah Davis, these type of guys. I have my main 12 team up. Who do we got? Singletary, Davis, DeMarcado, Blake Corum. Guys like that you can pull a Tootin, guys you can pull off a waiver. Start any of them over a Manders running back if you're in that deep of a pinch, because they ain't gonna be running the ball much in this game.
Especially Singletary against the Bears defense.
Sure, yeah.
200 yards.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Brady Bowl, a good old Brady Bowl, Patriots Bucks. I'm sure my Bucks fans will be all in. It'll be a good game. Hopefully, Drake May, Baker head to head. Hopefully, it's a good one.
Oh, I expect that to be a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Two very good teams, very good franchises.
Fun teams.
Good quarterbacks.
Yeah. Awesome.
I think we could give it a rapid 2 minutes, 2 hours and 15 minutes. That might be for us.
Yeah, great episode, great talking, great lot of great stuff to talk about. Like great week of football, and I expect another great week of football with all these rivalry games coming up next week for us to talk about.
Absolutely.
Good
Wonderful.
stuff.
We'll see you here again next week, same time, same place, 10 p.m. Eastern start. Thank you for coming.
We'll see you
Good
next
luck.
Tuesday.
Have a good week.